My grandfather's girlfriend, Mrs. Peoples, was 80 years old. Mrs. Peoples had tissues on the front seat of her car. "That's heavy," I said when I picked up the box of tissues. "That's my gun," Miss Peoples said. Virginia was uncivilized. We had to pump our own gas in Virginia. In New Jersey, you don't pump your own gas. They pump it for you. It's illegal for you to pump your own gas. It was summer and the cousins were over. Buttons was in the kitchen and the boys were playing knuckles, a card game. If you lost, they slammed a deck of cards down on your knuckles. I did not play, but I walked by on my way to the refrigerator. I looked them over. I put my hands on my hips. "Why don't y'all play something nice, something educational, like Monopoly? Where's your pride?" The first time I had to pump gas into my grandfather's car, it was very embarrassing because I went to the gas station and I was going to fill up, and I had taken the pump off the thing to pump the gas, and then I walked around the car and I couldn't find where do you put the gas in. Where's the hole? So I called my grandfather and he said, "You got to go in the back of the Buick and lift up the license plate." So I lift up the license plate and that's where the hole was to put the gas. Brunswick County, Virginia, 1940s, early 1950s. I was talking to my uncle about when they used to go down south. My uncle, the middle brother. He said when they went down south one summer, he stole Grandpa's fishing pole, and they went fishing. When Mama found us, he said, I ran. First, Mama caught up with me, and she hit me with the switch. Then Grandma caught up with me, and she whooped me too. We picked tobacco when we went down south, he told me. Then we had to put it in the barn to cure it. One day we're in the fields picking tobacco. I went down one row, and my younger brother went down the other row. He said, "I ain't picking this but he said the real cuss word. He didn't like picking tobacco. He was mean because he was the youngest brother. He got picked on the most. He was cold and he was mean. That's why Grandpa called him Hitler." This is Colonial Williamsburg. I went on one of their walking tours. The young lady was very passionate to discuss and contrast the lives of the enslaved people and the so-called owners. This video is not a story, but it's a story. It's a story of us being here. We were brought here in 1619. We were brought here for one reason, Money, to make money. Unfortunately, we were not allowed to receive any of the money we earned. The first thing we were told is that God is another color. And so you should obey the other color because they are God. The second thing you were told is that you were being saved, and being enslaved was saving you from hell, even though you were living through hell here on earth. Now, the third thing was, you already know it, being subject to terrorism. You notice they still use the term owners in professional sports. That's a message they're sending to the players and to the public. They are not men. They are beings who are owned. I don't care how much money they give the players, how much the players are paid. But they are there to be 3/5, not to be on the same platform as the owners. They need to stop calling them owners. Anyway, my tour guide was a very nice young lady, and she educated me. I had no idea that some slaves in Colonial Williamsburg acted as a legal secretary. I had no idea. Enslaved people did everything from farming to culinary to carpentry to making clothes to working as a legal secretary. The enslaved to the upper class would sleep in a pallet next to their bed. Sleep on a pallet next to their bed in case they needed anything. No wonder they can't understand that our lives matter. We were not seen as having lives. We were to be like the nuns and priests who live for God, but we were expected to live to serve other human beings who don't see us as human beings. We should not be stars in movies. Do you notice what happens when we are the star in the movie? all of a sudden that star of that movie is not good. But we should be there to be comic relief and say, yes, our boss. Oh, that's the young lady. That's the young lady that gave the tour contrasting the lives of the slave master and the enslaved. She did an excellent job. So I want to wish you a happy 4th of July. But as W.E. Du Bois described it, we have mixed feelings because of our history. The 4th of July is going to mean something different to us than it's going to mean to other people. And they should recognize that, but I'm not going to pin my happiness on if they understand it or not. 4th of July should be liberty for all. We don't have our rights taken away. We should have all of our rights. Every American should have equal rights. Happy 4th of July. My father grew up on a farm in Virginia. His family had a farm for 60 years. They grew tobacco, cucumbers, and butter beans. In the summertime, we went down south to the farm. We picked and tied tobacco. We plucked feathers off chickens in 100-degree heat. We pumped water with the water pump out back. We had to use the outhouse. His father plowed the land. His mother sewed all the clothes for the 9 children. His father was the superintendent of the Sunday school, and his mother chopped the heads off the chickens when they had chicken for dinner. She had a green thumb. She grew flowers, fruit trees, and she made big breakfasts with ham, home fries, bacon, eggs, and fried chicken. My father said after the boys did their work on the farm, they would go to the white people's farms and work there to earn a little pocket money. My father was born in 1909. He was the 4th son. His oldest sister went to normal school. Normal school is where they train teachers to be teachers. She quit teaching when she got married, and she and her husband ran a little store that they had out front of their house. His oldest brother, Ratbum, became a longshoreman on the waterfront. He worked in the shipyards at Newport News for 41 years. My father came up north in the 1920s. Down south, when he was working as a waiter in Virginia Beach, white women kept approaching him because he looked like a movie star and they couldn't tell he was black. He left the farm, he left Virginia Beach, he left Virginia, and he left the South. He decided to leave de jure segregation.